Welcome to the Craze in 10 or Less. This is the show where I give it to you in 10 minutes or under, and if I don't, well, that's upsetting. Anyway, guilty until proven innocent. Can you prove it? That's the topic of the day. I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. Stop acting up. Let's get it. All right, how do I know you did it? How do I know you did it? Prove it. Show me the receipts. How do I know you didn't use an AI art generator? Like, let's say, Wombo, Hotspot, Night Cafe. There's tons of them, right? And you see me looking off to the side because I forgot the names of these things. But how do I know you didn't use those things, right? So this is what's starting to appear in conversations on social media where artists, right now it started with concept artists, right? Because historically, conceptual artists have always done and illustrated these beautiful, elaborate sci-fi fantasy landscapes, right? Amazing lighting, and you're always wondering, how did they pull that off, right? Well, now, where these work for hires and a lot of these freelancers are now being challenged, you need to prove that you actually did it and you didn't use an AI software to do this now. Are we becoming obsolete? Or will we become obsolete? These are the small little sparks, right? And then you get the smoke. And then the smoke becomes fire, right? So right now we're seeing sparks where lots of creatives are going to be replaced for jobs because now I am the client and I want something specific and elaborate. Maybe I'll just pay for this app, this generator, and I'll enter in what I want. And I don't have to pay a couple of $1,000s or whatever it was for this concept artist where I paid $100 for this app. I'm saving a lot of money. What does that look like? And how long before it enters our arena in comics? Because if you go to these apps, it tells you, they categorize them. Do you want a comic image? Do you want a sci-fi image, a fantasy image? And then you have to just keep on drilling down on what you want. Sci-fi gas station with UFO hovering, alien dramatic lighting, but whatever it is, you start putting in all these codes and then boom, it gives you a first initial image. And then it tells you, do you want to evolve that image? And then you keep entering and entering and entering until you get the look you want. And then now if you're an artist doing this and you want to just say, you know what, now I'm going to export that, bring it into my program, Photoshop or Illustrator, and add my touches, whether it's just creating a landscape and you want to add your characters into it and all this other stuff. It sounds amazing until it hits the pockets. So now you find yourself trying to get work and someone's saying you lied, you're guilty, you didn't do this. And you're begging and pleading, no, I did. But you didn't document your steps in creating it. So now do you have to take photos of all your steps in your process or record it, video record it so you have video evidence that you actually did this? Right? You have to, no, I have evidence. So do you have to always plead your case now? Is this the world we've become? You know, they say that movies are the key into what's to come in the future, right? And we've seen that movie with Will Smith and iRobot, right? And the robots taking over and all this stuff. And for years we've heard about, robots replacing human beings. And I think what happens is if you're part of that collective that are so easily influenced by new shiny things, then you're you're gonna miss long-term implications because you want that now. You want the bragging rights because we're in a world where everything's about I got it first. Look what I did, blah 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 blah, and it's like, who can rush to the news first, right? Who can say, look, I'm part of this trend. But then 10 years from now, when you're finding it hard to get a job because now restaurants are automated, right? And that's they're working towards that, where they have these burger joints where there are no human beings. It's all you go to a window, you plug in what you want, boom, and it comes out. If it's to go or if it's to stay, it's right there, boom, right? And in Japan, I mean, in Japan, they are so advanced technology wise that they are so focused on automating so much. So, the jobs are going to be engineers and coders and software developers, and those are going to be the real core jobs, because eventually, even in the hospital rooms, in the surgery rooms, you're going to have computers. You might have somebody there, but you won't have that collective group anymore, where you would have the assistants and this and that. Now you have all these arms doing all that stuff. Well, let's go back to art. So the idea is, how do you maintain your integrity, and what steps do you need to do to make sure that people know that, yeah, I created this, right? Especially these beautiful, elaborate illustrations. And I'm talking about if you're a freelance artist and your whole livelihood is on that. You need to be aware of these things, because everyone wants the shiny penny, but no one understands long-term implications. So for this generation, or the future generation, you really need to make sure that you're investing in these things, because the days of the blue collar worker are going to be gone. They're trying to automate trucks and shipping and all this other stuff, and they have them already in the beta phase all over the world. So I just found it interesting. Jake Parker was a fantastic illustrator. He is creating awareness. Not only him, but a lot of elite artists in a lot of different genres are creating this awareness and saying, yeah, be mindful of what's happening. Protect the integrity of your creation. Make sure you document and you record your steps, because you might be labeled a fraud, even if you did it yourself, which is crazy. How did we get there? This is the inception of it, and it's already having some drama. So I can only imagine what it looks like down the road. And it starts at the top, right? It starts with these beautiful illustrations, and then it works its way down to the comic scene. And then how many of us will be replaced? I think what makes comics so unique is that people still want to connect with the artist. They want to get a signature from the artist. You're not going to get a signature from a computer. They want to collect that. So it takes away the appeal if the comic, there's only a writer behind it and a coder. Someone who's entering code to create the comic strips. No one's going to want the coder's signature. At least not that I think. I mean, who knows? I mean, this world is kooky as it is, and people might start. I mean, AIs are winning awards. How is that even possible? For best artists. Really? In a category where there are humans competing for these best awards? No. If you want to create an AI award, then just have a separate category. AI generated, illustrated, category. So who are the best coders? Who can program the application to come up with the best visual for a fantasy image, for whatever it is? Then it becomes an even playing field. You have a human category, and when you try to compete the two, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose, because an AI can do it in a couple of minutes, where it's gonna take us a week or two to create those kind of big, beautiful, bold landscapes, or 48 hours or whatever it is. And so I think, be mindful, educate yourself. It's just with everything else. Just because it's the new toy doesn't mean doesn't mean it's right for us as a human. Says that we're human. Remember, you're trying to replace yourself, and it's crazy. I don't know why there's such a big push to replace us. And that goes into a whole nother subject. But artists out there, you've been forewarned. Document what you do, and I'm talking about elite artists. I'm not, the novices, where you're not making money and no one's buying your content. You have a lot of work to do. We all do. But for those guys out there that this is your livelihood, and you've worked for studios and all these other things, document your steps. Record yourself. And don't take offense, novice artists, because we all are in different stages in our lives. But I'm saying we're in different categories. And right now, the area that's being impacted are really the conceptual artists. So be mindful. What are your thoughts? How do you think about this? Do you think I'm crazy? Are you one of those techies that's like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Because you're just sitting home all day and you want everything done for you, so your mind's not growing. Right? You're going to hate me for this. Your mind's right? So, I grew up in an era, I grew up with encyclopedias, bro. Reading them front to back. I grew up when you studied. I grew up when there was no GPS and we had to get from one state to another using a road map. Open it up. All right, we're going to go here, here, here. And you mapped out your navigation where you're using your brain cells. Not where you just put in a GPS and you don't even know a lot of the locations that you've driven. You can't even tell which road you took because you're just driving and talking and chatting, whatever, and you're getting there and like, oh, how much now? If you had to get there, your life is dependent on it. Where do you go? Where's the nearest gas station, the police station, the hospital? All these things, that we didn't take for granted. How many phone numbers do you know off the top of your head other than yourself and your spouse? From your friends and family, your mother, all these things. So again, before you come at me, just remember, the reality is we're getting dumber because we're allowing tools to do everything for us. Take the time to invest in yourself and your journey and your skill set and your education. So that way it makes it harder to be obsolete in a world where we're moving towards that. Anyway, that's the Crazy in 10 or Less. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. If you think I'm crazy, it is what it is. It's just one man's point of view. Doesn't mean you need to take me literally. This is just my perspective on what's happening out there. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We're going to carry on this conversation Thursday morning on The Morning Brew. So join us there for a lively discussion. This is where you get to, tell me I'm nuts, right? Join us on The Morning Brew. I'm okay with it. I got a thick skin. As long as it's PC and you present your case and there's no insults, I'm good with that. So with that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. Go visit dudesworld.com for all your Dudes adventures. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.